purpose today is to persuade you. My specific purpose is at the end of my presentation, the audience will be able to benefit how they can be involved in saving lives. It is known fact that suicide is affecting not only our teens, but in every age bracket, from teens to adults alike. It has become a national crisis. Let me begin with how many of you know suicide has become a national crisis. It is very heart-wrenching that statistics show in 2004, it was estimated that 811,000 suicide attempts in the U.S. alone. The things I want to, my first thing I want to tell you about is what causes suicide. Firstly, prolonged depression. Secondly, drug and alcohol dependency. Thirdly, family issues. E.D. Paul Connor states in 1997, in the recent years equivalents to every 17.2 minutes, making suicide the 8th leading cause of death in America, United States. Durkheim's argument in 1897 to 1951, the suicide rates are a social fact and reflects variation in social regulations and social interactions. The concept of suicide derives from the Latin word of oneself and side, a killing. Schickdemann, 1985, defines suicide as follows. Currently, the Western world, a conscious act of self-induced annihilation, best understood as multidimensional malice in a needful individual who defines an issue which suicide is perceived as a best solution. I know fact, suicide is affecting, but in not only teens, but also in every age bracket, from teens to adult alike. It has become a national crisis. First of all, suicide. What are some of the causes of people not wanting to live? First of all, prolonged depression. In 2010, we will be the #1 disability in America. World Health Organization states. Prolonged depression is a very stressful state without having any resolution in sight. So they tend to believe the lie that if they die, it will all be resolved. Secondly, drug and alcohol dependency. Many people who become addicted are self-medicating to try to reduce the intolerance of psychological pain. Thirdly, family issues such as parents always fighting, divorce, sexual molestation. These are very serious and can be very debilitating, and also rob us from a good self-esteem, our value as a person with great qualities and joy for life and living. Stephen L. Burnett, an expert on suicide, explains how depression distorts reality and creates a feeling of hopelessness. My solution for these problems is, what are some of the solutions that we have for these issues? Recognize the signs of suicide. When someone is, one of the signs is when somebody's talking about suicide. When someone's looking for ways to die, such as the internet searches for how to commit suicide, looking for guns or pills. One makes statements about feeling hopeless, helpless, and worthless. When someone has mood disturbances, dramatic changes in moods. Don't just turn your head and walk away. When you see someone going through some of these, take action and take it very seriously. If you see someone that is suicidal, you need to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. at 1-800-273-TALK. If someone has already attempted suicide, you need to call 911. Consider it a 5150. In my conclusion, let me state that suicide is to be taken very seriously. It is a matter of life and death. It does not just affect one person, that one person. It affects our children, our mothers, our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, and our friends. The list is endless. It can strike any of us at any given time. It is no respecter of persons. So don't think you are exempt, because none of us are. It can be a mental disorder, just as any other physical disorder. If we can help ourselves and or others, we can then learn to function normally, just like anyone else. We all need to take inventory of our minds and our emotions. And what are we dwelling on? Just as we have physicals once in a while, we also need to do this for our minds. As I was looking up and studying about suicide, as you can see, this is a teen. It doesn't just affect teens, you young people. It affects older women. Everybody goes through crisis at different ages, any age actually. Starts out by, partying. Here's partying. Here's a rope of a person going down into a glass of wine and they're drowning into alcohol. Here's somebody partying and then they maybe go in the bathroom and take a bunch of pills and die right there on the floor. There's always help. Pick up the phone, call. There's always hope. A lot of times suicide can be a mental dysfunction, like mental chemical imbalance. That doesn't mean that it's a disability. We can't help it. Some people are born that way. Some people end up getting these disabilities because they're abused, like I said, in different ways. USA, you probably can't see it, but USA is the prevention past year prevalence of all mental disorders. USA is the highest. Vicious cycles of life, negative attitudes, feel like the failure experience, you fear, you have frustrations, borrowing, you're bored, you're unproductive, you're miserable, your life is miserable. No meaningful goals and plans, and no clear direction. Think negatively, they feel insecure, no imagination, see problems, find faults. No vision, no ideas for success. As we get older, if we don't continue to analyze ourselves, we're just going to go in a vicious cycle. We're just going to keep going down, down, down into the dark tunnel. So my advice to you is to really take inventory. Watch your friends, watch your families. Thank you.